Hey crafters, welcome to another episode of Sculpting Spooktober, and today we are going to make a Bulbasaur, but a pirate Bulbasaur, just to continue with the same pirate theme. And this one, I think I want to put him on like a plank of wood or something like that, just to start things out, just to make things interesting, and to kind of go with the same kind of theme. But I do have a few things I'm gonna add, just not just a plain plank, but I do have a few ideas. I do hope that you guys do enjoy this video, and if you do, please do hit that like button and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. It really does help out with the algorithm and everything, and thank you so much. So the general idea of what we're trying to do is just kind of straighten this out, make it like a long plank of wood. Not exactly like he's walking the plank, but like he's on a ship's plank. Like a deck. It's kind of what I plan on doing here, just to keep in with the ship theme that I've been doing with all of the other ones. Just need a little bit of water. And I'm going to go ahead and get this straightened out and then cut to when we actually start shaping the body. Okay, so I got that kind of shaped out like a ship's deck. And now I want to do the body. I think I want about that much clay. I'm just kind of sizing things up a little bit, just to get things shaped the way that I want. And I'm sorry that I'm shaking the camera. We do this, we shake the camera all the time here on this. So, sorry about that. So kind of like this, but it's not the exact shape of his body. I might need to make it a little bit bigger, and I do need to make the onion-like shape for the back of his plant thing. So that would be kind of like that. You know, I do want to make the body a little bit bigger. And we just need to round it out, and then we do need to add in his body, one in the upper part of his body. And this is the old one that I made, so I'm just kind of having that in the background just as a laugh to show how much I have improved, because that was like the third or fourth sculpture that I made. You can definitely see improvements since then. So his head, Bulbasaur's head would be, and then I'll have to sculpt it, shape it a little bit more. Bulbasaur is a pretty simple shape relative to his body mass. If we're going, this is the body, that's too big for a leg. More like that. Last time I made his legs too big. I'm just trying to get the bits together for all pieces of his clay, and then I'm going to do some general shaping. I am eyeballing this, but I will be fixing any corrections, making any corrections I need to as I get further in the process. This is just to kind of get the general idea. Okay, I'm going to start shaping these and getting things down. And I do have a few things I'm going to add to this. I'm going to cut ahead a little bit here. Okay, so I think I got the shape that I want here with everything. So my intention now is to just kind of start the general assembly. And I do want to attach the onion first to everything else, to his main body. Just so that way it's in and I can kind of properly shape this. But I want the body kind of shaped out like that. So we're going to do the shaping of the top parts, and you can kind of see it's already taken the proper shape. Just need to pinch up a little bit on some of these sides because it is split like an onion, and I actually like the wood one a little bit better in this instance. And we can split that, and actually I want to get this one because I can cut and shape better. And then I will be shaping that a little bit more off screen, but this is just to get the general idea. And Bulbasaur kind of looks a little bit like that, but not as pronounced, I would say. And then I just need to get this in line more, get his ears together, because that's the only other thing that I have to attach. And I would say I need to incorporate some cheeks and smush this in just a little bit. And I'm going to start assembling a little bit more. And I think I'm going to cut ahead a little bit where I have this more shaped in and the ear's done. And I have the ear kind of shaped out how I like. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly attach it. Like half of what I have to do is just blending an object to another object. It's actually more than a half, I would say. So if you're going to try this on your own, definitely learn how to do that and get comfortable with it. Because it's easier to assemble pieces together than trying to sculpt it from one solid piece. That was built from one solid piece, and you can tell it doesn't look good. And I'll just have to add the other one, and I'll probably cut ahead to when I have that done as well. Alright, so I think I like the look of this. So we are going to do the next step here, which is to get this attached. And I just want to lightly poke that because the majority is going to go in this section. And then we're just going to attach it. And then I just have to blend a little bit of it together so it's more representative of what Bulbasaur looks like. And then we just want to lightly outline where his mouth would be, nose would be right here. And I want to attach his eyes right now as well, just to get that look. So yeah, about that for the eye size. So he's got more of like a triangular-ish eye, kind of like that. Rounded out one end, kind of like that. One is a little bit bigger than the other, just by a tiny bit. So we just match them, flatten it out a little bit. I just need the general look for both. We go ahead and attach them like so. Just get a little bit of water, and then I just need to shape them. They're not quite right, and then blend that together a little bit. I need to do a little bit of work on the bottom here, and then we can attach the legs. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of blending here, and we'll cut to the legs. Alright, so it is time for final assembly of the legs. So let's see here how I want to attach them. So I could do it like that. I feel like that's a good call. Okay, so I'm going to puncture this, and I'm going to have to change it up with the other ones. So otherwise his stance is going to be too wide. I just realized, yeah, I'm going to need to add to the planking. I didn't realize how wide I needed to make this. Alright, catch you in a minute. So I corrected all of my mistakes and widened the platform by a lot. So I just need to jab this in there, but I just realized I wanted to do something else. So there's a reason why I wanted to flip him around like this, and that will become clear shortly. I just need to correct a few things, and we'll work on next stage here. Okay, so I think I like the look of this. Now I just need to do the finishing touches that I wanted to add. Our Bulbasaur happens to have a eye patch. Of course, need the black band around him. I want to give it that like 3D-ish feel. And make sure if you do want to check out and try something like this, I do have all the same materials that I use in the link in the description below as well if you want to check that out. Just with my Amazon affiliate links. I'm not actually sponsored by anyone, but yeah, if you want to check that out, check that out. And if anyone wants to sponsor me, just let me know. Time for what I wanted to do, which is something that I have not really done before on a sculpture. So this is going to be very interesting, I would say. So I'm going to give him a vine. This is going to be very fragile, and I've not done anything like this on a sculpture before. I'm going to cut this paper clip here. We are going to make this very thin with an intention of giving him a hook, because this is probably one of the more complicated things I've actually tried to do for any sculpture. Something like that. So we're going to attach it like this. Just need to smooth out the vine a little bit. I'm going to bend that backwards a little bit because it is a hook. Kind of wrap around like a hilt, because I think it would look really, really cool in a 3D shape. And then I would just need to smooth it out. Okay, and I'm sorry if you hear any knocking. I'm not sure what my neighbors are doing over there, but I guess they decided to put up something on the wall or something. I don't know, like that. I think that looks good. So we just need to, oh, whoops. I just realized I put it on the side, and I shouldn't have done that, because it should be like coming out of the bottom of his onion. So I need to do a quick patch job and fix that. If you ever make any mistakes, you can do exactly the same thing. See, just cover up any holes. And if I smooth it out just a little bit more, you won't even be able to tell. So like so, just attach it like that. And then the last little bit, so I think our Bulbasaur needs to be guarding something. So I think I'm going to make some little gold bars. just like a stack of them. Just lay them out. And as far as the crew goes, I feel like that's a fitting role for him. So I'm just going to stack them up. And I think that will be the last little addition I make to our pirate Bulbasaur. Just have some gold bars sitting there. And I think I want to maybe like this. How do I want to arrange them? It's a great question. And I think I want one more just to round this out. So these are going to be the treasure. And there's just one random little bit there. And you know what? We could have some coins too. Just to kind of emphasize that that is gold. There are going to be different shapes, but it is a treasure. I hope you guys think this is cool too. Alright, I'm going to fast forward a bit here, and it's been a couple of days, and our Bulbasaur is dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint this real quick. Get that brown wood color painted in, because he's just basically on planks, like on a ship's deck. But after this will take like another day to dry. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this part at least done, and I'm probably gonna skip some recording of this, just that way I don't have too much footage here. And I'm literally just painting brown, and I'm almost actually even done. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cut ahead, and when we move on to the next stage. So the base is now dried, so we are going to paint everything else. I believe Bulbasaur has like a bluish tint for his body, and I think it's just a contrast with the green of his onion bulb, just to give it that general contrast and look. So I'm going to see if this is the right shade of blue, and obviously it's not a green color for his main body because he has like little splotches of green everywhere to make, because he's got those triangles. This is probably going to take a couple minutes to get this all through. The painting is probably like the most boring part, in all honesty. Sculpting, you kind of, can at least do stuff, but painting just takes, you got to do layer upon layer. And I think once all this is done for, we will start the green for his onion bulb. I don't even know what that's called. That's where I'm going to be next. But I do hope that you guys are enjoying this. And maybe you'll get inspired to do some projects of your own. I really hope so. Or you're already doing projects of your own. But maybe you could put me on in the background while you're actually working on your own projects. This isn't necessarily like a tutorial or like a how-to video. This is kind of a mixture of everything. And I just kind of want it to be, a fun little thing that you can just have or listen to. And there are probably different things that I can do to improve this. I know some people have suggested that I sand things in the comments, but I feel like I want a little bit of a texture here for his body and a few of the other creations that I make. It's also kind of difficult to sand air dry clay, I have noticed, because it's a little bit fragile, so you can't actually sand every single part of it, as far as I can tell, unless there's like a different method that I'm not aware of. But we're pretty much done here on this side, so I think I'm going to cut ahead and cut out the rest of this, and we will catch you in a few seconds when I work on the rest of his body. Okay, so I think the lighter blue might have been a little bit too light for this color, so I may have to repaint it at some point to a darker blue, but I'm just going to try with a darker green and just see how it contrasts first before I try to repaint the entire body. But it could work. I think it's just going to take like maybe a little bit, like I said, darker green. So let's see how this looks first before I jump around and repaint everything that I've done. Yeah, I think that works. Just with this color here. Could work very well, perhaps. Or perhaps not. You'll see the end result before... Well, I'll see the end result before you, but... unless you've skipped ahead and you already see the result. But this could be, I think, an interesting contrast. And then I just got to paint the silver and gold back there. And then his eye patch and his eye and the splotches of green on the rest of his body. Yeah, I think this is looking good, just with the way that I have it set up. It is a lighter blue than I went with for most of his body, but I feel like this actually does work in some weird way. just for me personally anyway. I know that in the show, I think he might have got a darker blue than this, but I think this works. Well, at least I hope it works. Again, I am no expert in Pokemon or artistry, but I just kind of do what I feel is right, just to make things more interesting. And also, just to have some fun, because let's be real here, I think that's the purpose of everything that I'm doing, is just have some fun. And if that happens for you guys, I will be happy, because that is my overall goal. And then, I know I'm not completely finished with that. I'm going to start painting the triangles on part of his face. And let's see, on his leg. And I think for his vine whip attack, I'm going to use a lighter green. Try to make them like triangular adjacent. I think I might cut ahead to when I have the rest of this filled out. As always, I think I'm overthinking it with the colors. I think that dark green works pretty well, and I'm going with a grass green on this. The other one was Viridian. This is gonna work. It is slightly lighter. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell though on footage here though. And I do have to paint the hand like silver, I think. I could go with gray, but I think I'm gonna go with silver. The end of the hook is what I mean, just to get it to work. Yeah, so I think this looks pretty good, although this grass green almost kind of matches the Viridian, and I'm actually kind of surprised by that. But I'm going to go ahead and get this done and maybe do a few touch-ups on a few other things, and then we'll get to work on painting the eye patch and the gold, and then his eye, and we'll basically be done. Okay, yeah, I think the green definitely settled in pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and paint his eye patch, just a standard black, just so it matches with everything else and the whole pirate theme. Had a lot of fun so far with this video, so I'm hoping you guys are liking this too. And I think what I'm going to do here, since this is pretty much good there, I'm going to skip ahead to when I paint the rest of his body. Well, I mean the silver and the gold. Trying to angle this right so that way you guys can kind of see what I'm doing too. That's always the hard part with these kinds of videos. And then I'm just gonna paint the edges of his mouth, and then I will paint around the edges just so it's fully blended in. And now we're just gonna paint the gold, because he likes gold. If anyone's seen Austin Powers, although that is a very old movie, so maybe, maybe not, who knows. But I think this is the correct color, and I'm going to paint the coins. I was initially thinking of doing it gold, but I think I'm going to paint them silver, just to have that color contrast. That is a good choice, overall. Anyway, and then once I finish with that in his eye, we'll basically be done with the overall design of everything, and it will be glorious. Although this gold is going to take like multiple layers. You can probably see the white showing through. So yeah, I'm going to have to cut a lot of that out. I don't film myself painting the same space twice, just because it's kind of boring. Even when I do time lapses, I don't do that, because you'd be seeing me paint it multiple times, and it would be almost indistinguishable for you guys on the other end of the camera. But it has to be done for my sake and for the sake of the finished product. But I think the gold looks pretty good here. Yeah, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna cut ahead to the silver. Catch you guys in a few seconds. Alright, so the second to last color that we're doing here is just a shimmer silver. We're gonna do that around his hook, and then we're going to also do it on the coins as well. And then the last thing that we will be doing, well, the second to last thing, I will have to do some touch-ups off screen, obviously, but I will also have to do the eye and then put on a sealer. But the sealer, I'm just going to do off screen, because I always find that easier to do it that way, because it just takes up a couple minutes, and I can do it real quick. Not really anything exciting, but let's paint the silver coins here to make it a good contrast to the gold, because I think that is a good, and this is one of the more complex crafting ideas that I've had, so I kind of like this, and I think I'm going to try doing more complex things like this in the future, because why not? With my skill level rising every single video, so that is always my goal, is to improve the quality not just of the video itself, but my skills. That is always very, very important. And if I were sponsored by Skillshare, that's where I would put them, but I am not sponsored by Skillshare. But maybe someday. Maybe someday. And let's get that last little bit. I suppose if I had more attention to detail, I could like try to put stuff on the coins just to make them like more realistic. But for now, this is what we're gonna do, just to give the general look. And then I'm probably gonna finish the rest off screen, do a little bit of touch-ups, and then get to the eye. All right, we are going to paint our Bulbasaur's eye just to get that done, and that is the last step that you will see on camera. And then I'm going to cut to when everything is finished. It's going to take me like another 30 minutes to finish everything else that I need to do on my end anyway. But you are going to see it in a few seconds. I do have to put like a white dot on his eye though, but I'll just do that myself. Alright, so it has been a full couple of days here. And this I plan on uploading on Halloween. I think this turned out really good. This is like, I'm really proud of this one. I think this is the best sculpture that I have made. This is really good. I really like this. There are a few things that I could have done a little bit better on it. Just a few minor details like his nostrils. But beyond that, I really do like this one. It's one of my better ones. And I could have made the lines more obvious on the bottom, but, you know, that's a minor thing. But, I really do like this. And if you compare this to the old one that I made, like a couple of years ago, just look at that. I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and I would really appreciate if you do hit that like button and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it, and it does mean a lot to me. And if you want to see other playlists just like this one, I have now created a Spooktober playlist, so please do feel free to check that out. And if you also want to start your own projects, I'm going to link all the things that I use in the description below as well. And if you want to help support me, I have written a book, and I'm going to link that in the description as well. But as always, hope you all have a wonderful day.